Shalom Avracha, Ahuvai Verei. Welcome to the 15-minute Parsha Yani D'Yom Shir. I want to start by thanking our wonderful sponsors for the Shir this morning. To the amazing Gitti and Rabbi Dr. David Neufeld in honor of our dear son, Avram Yeshaya Feiner. Thank you so much. Yashakayach to you, Tiskal Mitzvos the Kol Tusel. I want to thank as well Anonymous, sponsoring in honor of Rabbi Rebbetzin Feiner and Shaya. Thank you so much. Shaya Feiner's birthday tonight was Siyata D'Shmaya Teshma Shvat, as he is Magia to the Gil Bar Mitzvah Yud Gil Shanim. I want to thank everyone for the tefillas. Me'omka Deliba. I want to thank again the wonderful Neufelds and the anonymous sponsor for sponsoring the shir this morning. So, without further delay, let's turn to the opening narrative in this week's Parsha, Parsha's Bo. And I take it to Perek Yud Pasuk Ches, wherein Moshe and Aaron are brought back in front of Paro. That's it, no problem, I had enough. Paro turns to Moshe and Aaron and he says, go ahead and serve Hashem your God. Moshe responds, who are we taking out with us? Ben Areinu v'Skenin Helech b'Vanenu b'Vnosenu b'Tzonenu v'Koinu Helech ki Chag Hashem lanu. So writes the Balaturim. Listen to this Gavaldi Gavalaturim. What's miva miya holchim? Ava parala Moshe. What's the big rush? What's everyone so excited to leave the land of Egypt and to go to Achiatim's firmly kanis laaretz? You think what? Paro says, I know about this. So tzeti tzati gati lakachti vehevesi, and you're going to be bought. That's the culmination of the whole Yetziah. You're going to be bought to the land of Eretz Yisrael. So Paro says the Malkishuv, witchcraft, sorcerer that he was. Paro says, Moshe Rabbeinu, you think Klal Yisrael is going into Eretz Yisrael? Who in the world is even going to be walking on who's going to be going into the land? They're all going to die in the desert on the heels, of course, of Chetam Raglim. Chutz mi Yeshua v'Kalev, the only two tzaddikim out of the 12 spies. Amiva miya holchem, writes about the term is Gematria. Kalev ubin nun. Miva miya holachim. What are you making such a big deal out of getting out of Mitzrayim and going into Eretz Yisrael? You got to go through the journey in the desert. Who's going to cross the threshold into the promised land in Eretz Yisrael? Miva miya holachim. Gematria. Kalev ubin nun. And Yoshua ben Nun. That's it. So Moshe Rabbeinu answers what? Shiva Moshe. No, Paro, you got it wrong. You see, ben Areinu. Oh, this kainenu leilech. Why? Kilo nigzra gezerah lo lapochas mi ben chav. Below yes, be ben samich. Amal term takes us to the famous Gemara Bava Basra, Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, and we know that the Gezerah of Chetam Raglim was only issued upon whom? Upon all the men between the ages of 20 and 60 years old. Milah, Moshe Rabbeinu's response to Paro is, you think Miva Miya Holcha Galacha Kalev ben Nun? It's not solely Yoshua and Kalev. Vayoma Moshe ben Areinu is still going to go with our young ones, the ones under the age of 20. The ones above the age of 60. Answer Chaim Kanevsky in the Sefer Sabinu Mitzvot on the Kuntres Divrei Siach, that we can be mamshich the kav hala, we can continue the train of thought. And not only are we going, but Areinu v'Skenenu, Moshe Rabbeinu continues, adding on to the Balaturim, writes a Chaim Kaneski, Bivanenu bivnosenu, Bivanenu, what does the Gemara say there? Mavamasu kuf chafalev, that you had the bottom, everyone from Sheva Levi. Remember Sheva Levi? The Gemara says, they were in Chet Egel, Sheva Levi, you had bottom from Sheva Levi, they were also able to go into the land. Bivnosenu, the daughters, because Lo Nigzara, the Gezerah, and the decree didn't go on the Noshim, the Heilige, Noshim Tzidkonius, the Neshei Yisrael, they're Machavavos Asaretz, they weren't the Makamel, and they didn't accept and absorb the Lashon Hara, the Meraglim, and they never lost their insatiable appetite, their unquenchable thirst to go into Eretz Yisrael, and Bivanosenu, the Neshei Yisrael, and Bitzanenu Vivkarenu, and with the cattle, the Gezerah wasn't on the cattle, so we have plenty of reason to leave Mitzrayim and make the journey to Eretz Yisrael, and we got the Naharim under the age of 20, we have the Zakanim above the age of 60, and we have the bottom all from Sheva Levi, we have the Benosenu, all the daughters of Klal Yisrael, and we have the Tzon and the Bakar Nelech, we're all going to Eretz Yisrael, Adkan the Balaturim. The Maisa, Moshe Rabbeinu, when you put it all together, what do we see? We're going with representatives from everybody, every category, we're all going together. Why? And that's the Mitzvos of Klal Yisrael. See, Klal Yisrael is Miva Miyaholchin. And when we go together. Our Na'orim, our Zakenim, our Banim, our Banos. We take it all. We are what? One collective people. Klal Yisrael. To get out of Mitzrayim, what did we need? Yes, we have the Perkul lesson, the various Menrosh Lashinu Shema, Es Lashonim Esamal B'Sheim. We didn't change our names. Yiddish and we didn't change the vernacular or indigenous tongue of Lashon HaKodesh. We didn't change our mode of dress. Gavaldik, and what else? Klal Yisrael. We removed them in Arayas. We didn't fall prey to the lure of being seduced by the Egyptian woman. Milah, we removed them in Arayas. We were protected from Gilei Arayas. And writes the Medrash, we didn't have any idolatry, no Lashon Hara. You know what? We weren't slandering another. We were keeping together B'Achdus. There was an element of Achdus that got us out of Mitzrayim. Similarly, we know that Purim was a time of Barosam Yachat Zechelis Mordechai, a time of Lech Kenosis Kol Yehudim, a time of Kimu V'Kiblu, writes the Maral, and his Or Chodesh Megillas Esther, Kibel V'Ksiv, is Loshen Yochen, not Kiblu, Kibel, that what we were Kabel together all as one as an Am Echad. Purim was a time of Gemaldig Asifa, writes Zalman Sorotsky, at the Baal Naim Lato in his wonderful Chut Chesed commentary, Megillas Esther. And he writes a Hafla de Gazach. Listen to this Pli Atzuma. He writes a Zalman Sorotsky and Chut Chesed. You know, he says the greatest miracle of the Purim story, and not Haman Mordechai Essay says the greatest miracle is that Achashverosh, the king of the world, 127 provinces at least, the Medinas, what did he want? What juicy piece of information did he seek? Did he pursue relentlessly more than any other piece of information? Somebody tell me Esther's background. Tell me, you know, that all the Yidden knew Esther. They knew Esther mighty well. And yet what? All right, so Zalman Sorotsky, now one person revealed the identity, the religion of Esther Amalka. Can you imagine? I'm so sure Achashverosh had his KGB, he had a secret service. I'm sure he put up signs. $10,000, $100,000 reward. Anyone can tell me something about Esther. And nobody was tempted, nobody revealed anything. Why? Because that's the Achdus. No one said Lashon Hara. No one was Megala. So no one revealed the secret. That's the Achdus. And that was the ticket to their salvation. We take care of everybody else within Klal Yisrael. It's all about the Achdus. So too, you want to get out of Mitzrayim? No Lashon Hara. No Lashon Hara. That's how Moshe Rabbeinu was worried when it came to, Dasan Avira. Otherwise, the Medrash says, so they didn't speak Lashon Hara. We had the Achdus Gavalda, we get to go out. So we have all these Gavalda Gemailis. You read the Psukim and Ve'ir and Bo. What do we see in the world of Pshuta Shemikra? Vayishma Hashem Asna. Kasam Hashem heard their tefillas. The Maisa, Rashi also tells us that Aaron Ve'eria, that we were lacking mitzvahs, Tahaini, we were lacking sechuyas. So when you take a glance through all the Menrosh Chazal, and we see these milas of Mugdim and Arayas not speaking Lashon Hara, Avloshinu Hashemamas Lashonim Asmal B'Sheim, all Givaldi Gezachen. But Lamaisa, still Rashi cites the Medrash that there's a Tain on Klai, so Ata, you still need Maisa mitzvahs, Tahainu, you're doing beautiful Zachen, but you still need to do Pa'ulas of a Maisa mitzvah in order to get out. So what were the two things Klal Yisrael needed to do to get out of Mitzrayim, to all journey together? They needed the Dam of Milah and the Dam of Pesach. Navi tells us, Verech Misposeses B'damayich, V'malach B'damayich B'damayich Chayi. Hashem so Klal Yisrael wallowing in the blood. What blood? The bloods of the Dam Pesach and the Dam Milah. So let me ask you a question, my dear friends. Why is it that Klal Yisrael needs Maisa Mitzvah? They need to perform Pu'ulos in order to get out. They had all these other Milas, but they still in Chazal, they couldn't go out without anything. Hashem says, I'll give you a Milah, I'll give you a Pesach. Why Dafka these two? In addition, we know that we have 613 mitzvahs, Tayyig mitzvahs, Gemara Makis, Chav Gimel Bebeis, Torah Shav Simlai, Rabbi Simlai, Gematria 613. We have the breakup 248, 365. Ramach mitzvahs Sasei 248. Keneged the Ramach Evari Ha'adam 365. Writes the Gemara Makis Keneged the 365 days of the year. Writes the Zohar Kodesh Keneged the 365 Gidim, the sinews in the body that hold Evarim together. In the Maral in the beginning in Zech Yisrael that it's really the Zelbazach, the same thing, but coming from a different perspective, a different angle. We have 248 mitzvahs saseh, 365 mitzvahs lo saseh, 248 positive commandments, 365 negative ones. Out of the positive commandments, there are only two positive commandments that bring with it a chiyuv of kares. We have a whole sugya of the mission of the beginning Maseches Krisus. We know that there's so many lav and so many negative commandments that if one chalila machas violates, if you perpetrate certain specific averis, it brings with it, it warrants a mis of kares, one of the worst punishments. Nichras hanefesh shehi, the soul gets cut off. And yet there are only 2 mitzvahs asay out of the 248, and we have a unique category that contains only 2 mitzvahs, bris milah and the mitzvah of korban pesach, that if you don't perform a bris milah, chiyuv kares. You don't perform a korban pesach, chiyuv kares. What's unique about these two? That it brings with it a chiyuv kares. The Feiner is daiti. Perhaps the mahalach is as follows, something that I've discussed in different contexts in the past. And that is that Hashem says, you did all these gemaldi gezach in Klal Yisrael, but to get out, there are 2 important nakudos. Number one is that if you're getting out of Mitzrayim, where you've been subject to slave mentality for avodas parach, a duration of 210 years, first thing is you have to realize what? You're no longer an evet to Paro, you're an evet ach v'rak to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Hatav denoisi al harazeh, Moshe Rabbeinu, it's revealed to him by the burning bush, the tachlis, the primary goal, the aim, the objective of the entire Yetziah is what is to be Oved Hashem by Maimon Sinai, Shavuos time, by Matan Torah. That's to be Oved HaKodesh Baruch Hu. You got to be an Eved Hashem. You're not an Eved to Paro, you're an Eved to me. How do you symbolize the fact that you're an Eved? Writes the Chizkuni and the Sforno back in Parshas Lech Lecha. Writes the Maral and Gur Aryeh, this week's Parsha, Parshas Bo. The same way that a shepherd will go ahead and brand his flock, he'll brand his sheep and engrave his name or some identification, some identifying number that says, these cattle, this livestock, this all belongs to me. Abishter says, I want the males to embed, engrave kilu in their physical anatomy, in their physiological makeup. I want them to embed into their goof a mark that stays with them forever, like the Sigim Menachas, David HaMelech, when he says he was in the base of Merchatz, he's Arum from all mitzvahs. No, he looks down and he sees his bris milah. A mitzvah you could take with you, it's engraved into your physiology. You can never remove it from your midst. That's bris milah. That's what your stamp, your branding that says, I'm not an Evet to Paro, I belong. I'm one of Hashem's tzon. Eytan anu tzonenu, and he is roenu. We are his cattle, and we thus figuratively brand ourselves with the Maisa Mitzvah Bris Milah, and it says we are avodim to Hashem. That's what Bris Milah, the Yesod, is all about. In the Sforno Chizkuni back in Lech Lecha, Maral Gorai, this week's Parsha, we're proud to be an Eved Hashem. And you know what? As the Maral continues in his Gur Aryeh, it's very nice to be an Eved Hashem, and now you have to do a Maisa Avoda. What's a Maisa Avoda? An Avoda of Karbana. So you go in and bring a Karban. It says, Hashem, I'm not just declaring myself and demonstrating that I want to be an Eved, but I'm Lamaisa. I'm performing an act of Avdus, and I'm going to bring you Karban. And Dahainu, an act of Avoda. I'm going to be Mak of the Korban Pesach, especially Tayonas and Uziel. Yisro Akafe Nesharim. Maybe she took us out to 90 Mitzrayim, brought us to the Beis HaMikdash. We were Mak of the Korban Pesach. They did everything in the Beis HaMikdash, and then Hashem took us back. And then ultimately, redeemed us from the land of Egypt. But Lamaisa, you have to do a Maisa Voda. But Lafiyani Yastaiti, there's another Nakud at play. And that is that there's a Meshach Chacham in Parshas Chukas. And the Meshach Chacham, Meir Simcha of Davidsk, as bothered that in Parshas Chukas we talk about the punishment. Somebody who has tummy mace, someone who defiled himself by coming in contact, contracting different means, how he can contract it, contracting tumas mace. He now is not allowed to go into the Mishkan. If he goes into the Mishkan, Menachos says punishment is kares. A few pesukim later, if someone who's tummy mace goes into the Beis HaMikdash, Menachos he is chayav kares. Why do I need a parsha that talks about the Mishkan and one talking about the Beis HaMikdash? Explains the Meshach Chachma. Because there are 2 aspects of Klal Yisrael. There's the Yochid within Klal Yisrael, and the Mishkan was about Yechidim uniting with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because we weren't together as one until we got into Eretz Yisrael. Mikam Cho Yisrael Goy Echad Ba'aretz. The Beis HaMikdash united us all ba'ofen kavua, and that's the ultimate place of unity. And at the end of the day, we didn't have complete unison. Even the Shem Yishmol writes in Shoftim, even the Milah of Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Har and Perk Yetzes and Yisrael, Rashi the Mechil to Gish Echad B'Leibuchad, it's only but not Guf Echad Mamish. Guf Echad is only when you're in the Guf HaKarka, in the actual physical land of Eretz Yisrael, Atzenu HaKadosh, that unites us and merges us, fuses us into one. And then we're Guf Echad, then we're Mamish like one. Meshach Chochmah says, what emerges, at least in Meshach Chochmah, there's an idea of Kores getting cut off from the Eibishter, and then there's an idea getting cut off from Klal Yisrael, which together is always united with Hashem Yisbarach. It's the Shoresh Nishmas Knesset Yisrael, that's Menachas Tachas Kisei Kavod. There's a connection of every individual, Klapi HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mitzad Echad, and Mitzad Sheni from another angle. There's a connection of Klal Yisrael as a unified, cohesive nation, as an Am, Im, together that connects to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And there are two aspects of Kores. There's Kores, a Yid getting cut off from the Eibishter, and then there's a Yid getting cut off from Klal Yisrael, which as a unit is connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ad kan Ramei Simcha. Fi'aniyas Daiti. There are only two mitzvahs I say singled out that bring with it Kores. What are these two about? In my humble opinion, Hashem says, so we want to get out of Mitzrayim. First thing you have to know is that every Yid is choshev. Every Yid is choshev as an individual Evan Hashem. Milah, I want everyone to stamp himself with a bris milah, to give yourselves the proud mark, you're Nevad Hashem. You're not an Evan Tapari, you're Nevad Hashem. And the same way that we explained earlier, that's called the Sefer Shmos, the Book of Shmos, our book of names. Why? Because everyone has his own unique name, his own unique tafkid. When we're going to count the Jews later on in Parshios Bamidbar and also, it's a mispar Shemus Lugugoloisam, writes the Alshich. We're going to count them by name. Every Jew has his own unique tafkid. As an Evan Hashem, part and parcel of God's master plan, a bris milah is do a bris milah and show me that you're proud individual Evan Hashem to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A bris milah is not a shared mitzvah. Bris milah is Ruvain has his bris milah, Shimon has his bris milah. Ruvain openly declares, God, I'm so proud to be an Evan Hashem. Hence bris milah. Shimon Mechulei, it's not a shared mitzvah. What is Pesach? Pesach, as the Maral explains in his Drosha L'Shamas HaGodol, Korban Pesach is a korban that the Gemara says in Pesachim, it's bought together, it's count from a chabura, it's keknuf yadomi, it has a din kilu like a korban tzibur, it has to be eaten as a chabura, etzem lo sish barabo, you can't break any bones. Why? Because it's all about shleimus. It's got to be eaten together, you got to finish it all hanaisar, you can't leave anything over, you can't break any bones, and it's got to be eaten b'chabura, and it has a quasi status like a korban tzibur. All right, the moral, it's all about achdus. The fi'aniyas daiti. God says, Klal Yisrael, you want to go out of Mitzrayim, you got to do pulas of a ma'aseh mitzvah that say you want to connect to me. I know you believe in me. I know you didn't change your name, your language, your clothing. Now I want you to go out and do a ma'aseh mitzvah. What bris milah? First and foremost, you're not a never to Paro, you're never to Hashem. As an individual, connect to a Kodesh Ruch Haidei bris milah. Avram Vino connects to a Kodesh Ruch Haidei bris milah. Writes the Ramban in Parshas Emor, the name Yisrael descended into the world. Yedei Avram Avinu's performance of Bris Milah, that's what introduced the Shem Yisrael into the world. That is, you're no longer never to Paro, you're never to Hashem. Bris Milah, but Bris Milah is not done. Why? Now that you did a Bris Milah, you have to now demonstrate that you're connecting to the Tzibur. But who can connect to the Tzibur? Fascinating. Only those who had a Bris Milah are allowed to eat a Korban Tzibur. If you don't have a Bris Milah, why? Because it's a Stira Minei Bay. It's self-contradictory. The whole Indian of Korban Pesach is take all those who have already declared themselves to be proud members in Hashem's army, Hashem's tzon, Hashem's figurative cattle, and you're proud to be an Eved to Hashem Yisbarach. Now take all the avodim and combine them. That's why Milah Sacharim, Milah Savodim Akavto. Why is it Ma'akev? As we've explained in the past, the Marshawn, Yavam Asayin Aleph and Beis, it's not a din of Bris Milah, it's a din of Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach is Machayiv, obligates that all those who will partake and be involved in a Korban Pesach will have already had a Bris Milah. Why? Because first you have to be an Eved Hashem. Korban Pesach is bringing all the individualized, independent of the Hashem together as one. And it's eaten b'chabur, and you're not breaking any bones, and you're not leaving anything over. And it's all eaten together, it's like a Korban Tzibur. That's why Pesach is what? Keneged Daled Bonim Dorato, everyone comes to the table, everybody's around. And that's why you can't have even your avodim. The house after anyone is at the table, anyone's a part of this society, they have to have a bris milah. I have to be an Eved Hashem, and only then can you partake in a Korban Pesach. These are the only two. You're subject to kares. Why? Kares is getting cut off from God. But as we saw from Meshach Chacham and Chukas, as getting cut off from your own individualized personal relationship, you, Bofen Ishi, Bofen Prati with the Yebishter. And then there's you as a part of Klal Yisrael, where if you leave Klal Yisrael, then you leave the union of Klal Yisrael as a nation, as a Shorish Nishmas Knesset Yisrael, as a Knessia, that as a nation it's attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Two different Mechidas. Feiner Staiti, someone who doesn't do Bris Milah, you don't want to be an Evan Hashem, then it's kares. God says you don't want a relationship with me. And then the individual, ofen prati, ofen ishi relationship, you discarded it, that's a chiyuv kares. What's Pesach? Pesach is the demonstration that I want to be a part of the Yam, I want to be a part of Klal Yisrael. This is, as we see from the Lashon Unavim, Yetziah is the Shas Leidas, Yetziah, the formation, the incipient stages of forming the Nasa nation. This is the beginning of Klal Yisrael. The beginning, it's got to be Achdus, it's got to be Korban Pesach. The individual, independent of the Hashem, are now uniting as one. Givaldi Mitzvos v'damayich, like Pergalosa, the Dam is all mixed in. I know the Dam Pesach, the Dam Milah, but you can't have a Pesach until you have a Milah. And if you don't have a Milah, then you're kares, and then you get cut off from any relationship with God above. And if you don't do Korban Pesach, you get cut off from the union, your attachment to Klal Yisrael, which as a nation is attached to Klal Yisrael. If you don't have a Korban Pesach, you're not interested. And joining with the Klal Yisrael, Sa'at Aram area, how you masake that? I'm an Eved Hashem Bris Milah. I take my Bris Milah now. We're all individual of the Hashem, and we unite together to do a Maisa Avoda of a Korban, but not just any Korban. A Korban that has a din of a Korban Tzibur, that's a Nivne B'Chabura, Eden B'Chabura, that has no broken bones, that nothing is left over. It's all about the Achdus. So now you're ready to go out. We're no longer of the Paro. We're of the Hashem, but we're not individualized of the Hashem. We're individualized of the Hashem. We're now united as one. Together, Korban Pesach. At Erev Area Mitzvos v'damayich. It's the two bloods. Together, that of the Dam Pesach, that of the Dam Milah. It's everyone together. Milah, Paro says to Moshe, Amiva miyahocha, Moshe, who's going to Vayam Moshe? We're all going. Just say we're all going now. I'm just like Ata Nitzavam Kulchem. And then we go on. Shifteicha, we will list them all. Moshe says all of Klal Yisrael are going out. Benarenu, Biskainenu, Bavanenu, Benasenu, B'Tzainenu, B'Karenu. Adahainu, what? Yes, it's the book of Shmos. It's the book of individuals. Me. Tell me who's going. Oh, it's just a Kolev, it's just a Yoshua. Azak the Moshe Rabbeinu. No, the whole Leidas, Yetziah Salam is totally. It's not Yechidimo going out. It's not a Kolev. Out of Yoshua. Me. Who's the guy? Yoshua and Kolev. No, it's Benarenu, Biskainenu, Abanenu, Benasenu. So we're going out all together as one unified nation. We're going out all unified as one together. Our young, our old, our males, our females, because that's the Mitzvos of Klal Yisrael Paro. I'm letting you know that we're going out as one unified, cohesive unit. It's everybody together. That's our Kayach. On the heels of a Bris Milah, we're taking all the of the Hashem, and we're going out together with our entire nation. We're going out, leaving as a unified, cohesive unit. This is the latest on the Yetziah, the Tikkun of At Erev area. We go out with a Bris Milah, but it's not done until you have the Maisa Avoda, but in particular an Avoda that unifies and brings Klal Yisrael together. It's Korban Pesach. That's why we all come together. Pesach is the first of the Sholosh Regalim, thus called because of Aliyah L'Regel. What started Aliyah L'Regel? Avram Avinu, Chagigat Afkilam and Aleph, Pamayim Asnodiv. Avram Avinu gave us Bris Milah. Avram Avinu was the first one to introduce the Shem Yisrael. Bris Milah, Avram is the one to put together a family, bring together, start the Mitzvos of Klal Yisrael. Avram Avinu, we get Aliyah L'Regel from him. The first Yontav of Aliyah L'Regel is Pesach, and the Shas latest Yetziah. Where's the first act of Aliyah L'Regel? When we left Mitzrayim to all go with our Aglayim to go on a journey, on a trip out to the desert. Paro Mivi Be'ochem. What's Aliyah L'Regel? Everybody goes Aliyah L'Regel. Everyone is going. We're going together as a nation. And our Aglayim, we're all going together. We're all going together as one unified Am. That's Pesach, the first of the Sholosh Regalim. Tachog Li Bashona, you bet. Ki Chag Hashem Lanu. Chag Vayachogu writes in Etziv, a lotion of a circle. people of a machal. It's together. Chag Hashem lanu. It's not stam. We're going to go and celebrate a simcha. We're going to celebrate a simcha. But b'chinas chag. Vayachogu is dancing in a circle, writes in a tzib. A circle is everyone together holding hands. Chag Hashem lanu, the first of the chagim. It's Pesach Aliyah, the regular first journey. B'shas, the latest Yetziah. But we go out together as one unified group. Rabbi Sai, Ava, Shalom, and Reyes, Hatzloch, and uniting together as a nation of a Gavaldig day. And a Moridik Lichtige Shabbos. Enjoy your time off if you haven't went to break. Ayashakayach, again, those who sponsored, have a Lichtige Gavaldig Geshmak Shabbos Kodesh.